Hello, and welcome to Squire's training on QBO customer setup. My name is Jennifer Amos. I am a QuickBooks Pro advisor specializing in construction and contracting clients. Today, we're going to be going over customer setup, specifically keeping in mind that a lot of construction and contracting clients need to have more detailed information than what you typically see on a regular customer setup, such as the fact that we usually have projects underneath a customer that may require separate billing, or we may want to be able to see the profit and loss specifically for each project or job that we're working on. So, with that in mind, we are going to be going over some of the differences in how you can get that set up, as well as doing a live demo of what it looks like in QBO. If you'd like to follow along in your own company file, you are more than welcome to do so. Or if you'd like to work in a sample company, the website that's on the screen is the test drive website that Intuit's created. Please keep in mind that the sample company that's available through this link is not going to be the same one that I will be working in. I will be working in a QBO accountants version since that's the demo file that we typically use. So let's talk about the two different ways that you can set up a project within QBO. So there's the sub-customer method or the projects method. A couple years ago, when projects first became available, the workflow between them was very different. So with projects, it used to be that you had to work only in the project section within QBO. A lot of us went back to Intuit and said, this is very confusing. This does not make sense. I need to be able to enter in information in a streamlined fashion. And relearning how to enter information in just doesn't work for anybody. And so since then, Intuit has since converged the way that the information is entered into QBO, so that a lot of the information is more readily available, easy to enter in. But there are still some things that are different between sub-customer and projects. So let's go ahead and start looking at the similarities. Regardless of whether you choose a sub-customer or a project, that data will still appear in your balance sheet and your profit and loss. And you can access the information either by filtering it, or if you're looking for profit and loss by customer, that is a default report that's available in QBO. Regardless of the method, we still recommend that you create a parent customer. A parent customer is basically where those detailed sub-customers or projects roll up. It can be the name of a development, it can be the name of an owner, it can be a particular group of projects that you're working on, whatever makes sense for the kind of work that you do. Um, and also, as I mentioned before, the entry of information into QBO has been streamlined. So you would enter that information into the project or the customer/project field, regardless of if you're working on an invoice or if you're working on a bill. Basically, you'd click on that drop down and you'd be able to have access to the parent customer, sub-customer, or project. Um, Basically, you just need to double check the information that's on the right-hand side saying what it actually is. So some of the key differences, so the sub-customer is basically your default. If you haven't turned projects on, but you've created a customer that's underneath another customer, that's a sub-customer. And it's very similar to QuickBooks Desktop. So in Desktop, you'd have the customer and then you'd have the job. That's essentially what a sub-customer is. And then, of course, the information will show up in your report section. Now, projects is something that is unique to QBO. You will not find it on desktop in any way, shape, or form. It does have some nicer visual presentations, some nice graphs. And if it's something where you really want to be able to look at a particular project or a home or a lot, anything where you just want to look at that, you don't need to look at the development at the same time. Projects may be of more use to you. It does have a couple projects that are unique to it, um, but the information is available in the report section. It's just that in projects, that information is already pre-filtered to look just at that project. So you'd basically enter into the project, go to the project report section, everything's already filtered for that project. Now, an important thing to keep in mind with projects is that the only information that will show up in your project section is information that you've posted to the profit and loss. So if you are using a WIP account or customer deposit account and you're posting information to the balance sheet first, and then at a later date rolling that over to the P&L, none of the information from that project will show up in the project screen until you roll it over to the P&L. And so if you say you're just doing some quick projects, like you're wor you're an electrical subcontractor and, yeah, you're working on these different developments, but you never post to a WIP account, then you won't have any concern using projects because everything's being posted to projects as it's happening. Whereas if you're a homeowner or not homeowner, a home builder, and you're taking several months and everything is put in on the balance sheet until that project is completed, the home is sold, and then you roll it over into the P&L, you want to consider whether or not projects make sense for you, since a lot of it won't, a lot of the visual presentations won't be available until the home is actually sold. All right, so let's go ahead and do a live demo. So we're going to go into sales, customers. So the way that this is set up right now, this is a parent customer. All the ones that are indented are sub-customers. If you have projects turned on, if you go over to the gear icon over on the far right, the one that's under the one at the top of the screen, you can actually include projects so you can see everything all at once. Regardless, the amount that's sitting in open balance, that will actually cover all the sub-customers and projects underneath it. And then you can do a quick glance to see what are your open balances on the sub-customer and projects as well. To create a new customer, you just come up to the green circle for new customer. You can enter in the company information, display name as, some of the contact information. Here's your address. You can add in notes such as like, oh, like the project manager on this job is this. Here's the superintendent. Hey, they want everything built to them. All the notes can go in here. If you have to worry about tax exempt certificates, this is a great place to keep track of that information. You could basically say, yes, they are tax exempt. And then like if you have a question later on, is this person tax exempt? Yes or no? Like that information is sitting in here. Here's the payment and billing section. If you have a merchant services account that's connected with your QBO account, this screen will look a little bit different because you can then have the option of saying like, yes, I'll accept credit card, I'll accept bank ACH, or whether you choose not to. You have an option of saying if you want to send languages or if you want to send invoices in another language. You can add an attachment such as that tax exempt certificate that I just mentioned. Contracts, change orders, all those can be saved here. If you decide to use customer field or custom fields, you can add those in here. And then if you track by customer type, that's an additional info. The only difference for setting up a sub-customer is that you check mark here to say this is a sub-customer, and then you choose which customer you want to use. So please keep in mind, you can go 5 levels with a sub-customer of a sub-customer. The problem is that it gets really, really difficult to read a P&L if you have more than one sub-customer. So we typically keep it to customer and sub-customer, and we don't do a third level below that. And then here's where you say whether you want to bill with a parent or just bill this customer. So on projects, if you're looking over on the left-hand menu and you don't see projects, you'll actually need to turn it on, which is the gear icon, company settings, advanced, and it's projects. Um, Use project financial tracking. If it says off, you'll have the pencil icon over here and you can turn it on. Once you turn projects on, you cannot turn it off, but you don't have to keep using projects if you don't like it. Basically, you just want to set up everything as a sub-customer from then on. So in projects, this is a fairly blank screen because of the setting with time with the dates. You create a new project. If you have a particular way that you want some projects set up, you can create a template. Project name. Let's do lot 7. And then I'm going to go ahead and choose. So as a heads up, sorry, before I forget. So this is a parent customer. This is a sub-customer that is set up to be billed separately. And so please be careful when you're choosing these. It does not say on here what they are. So you'll want to double check and make sure that you're choosing the parent customer. And then it does require a due date. It doesn't mean that you can't change this due date. It's just something that needs to be entered in because of the way that the filters are. And then the section with assigned to and tasks, you most likely will not see. I just found out that it is specific to the QBO accountant version. So I'm going to go ahead and click save. And then here is our wonderful project screen. And so I have two ways to enter in transactions for a project. I can either use this add to project and enter in a transaction here, or I can go to new. Sub customers, basically all your for your entry would be through new. And so I'm going to go ahead and enter in an expense. I'm going to enter in Home Depot, framing, material. And then this is the customer/project field I told you about. So I'm going to do lot 7. And then I'm going to go ahead and create an invoice. And as you can see, I have the ability to do customer, project, so over to the right, sub-customer. And then I'm going to enter in that framing. And then because I entered in the customer information up here, it does not give me that option down here with class. So I'll go ahead, save and close. And then right here, we have that uh, invoice that I just created for 800 income. I have the 500 in cost going straight to cost of goods sold. If I look up here, I'll see income and costs with my profit margin. And so that is this is unique to to projects. We don't have something similar for sub-customers, unfortunately. Well, let's go ahead and take a look at well, first let's take a look at project reports. So we do have that project profitability, time costs by employee or vendor, unbilled time and expenses. And so this is if I had marked on that expense that I wanted it to be billable, it would show up on here. Time cost by employer or vendor. This will rely on you using QBO payroll. And so unfortunately, we wouldn't be able to show that. Project profitability. So this is the P&L by this particular project. And so it has income, cost of goods sold, and all that good stuff. So if you come over to reports, let's go ahead and let me show you how to filter. So on the balance sheet, if I go, so there's a couple different ways you can do this. I'm going to go ahead and show you the unusual way. So I'm going to look for all dates and I want to look for Beamer, if I can spell it. So if I click on Beamer Homes, that's going to pull in every single project that I've worked on in every sub customer. But if I choose these ones, I can look at individual projects and sub customers, then run the report. And then this will tell me all of the items that have hit the balance sheet. If I go up here to say, I want to display columns by customers and run the report, then I can see, oh, here's what I have specifically under lot 6, under lot 7, my lot 1, in lot 2, and because those were all the ones that I selected. And then here's the total for all of those. And I can see, do I have a lot, I have a lot of outstanding AR, which part of the project is it for? Do I have any WIP that's outstanding? And so that's useful to be able to customize and say, I want to look at, either the whole development or I want to look at a particular lot or lots, depending on what you want to look at. And you can go ahead and choose things between customers as well when you're on that filter screen. So there is this option for profit and loss, or if you want to go ahead and use the profit and loss by customer. And let's look at this year. And then we have lost my income, my costs, gross profit. And then if you want to, again, you can change the dates. All right. Well, thank you for joining us on our training today. It was great to have you. If you'd like to see more videos regarding either QuickBooks Online, QuickBooks Desktop, or job costing, we do have some additional videos available and we are working on additional content. The best way to be able to access these videos would be to subscribe to one of our newsletters. We do have a QuickBooks newsletter and as well as a general accounting newsletter that you can subscribe to. If you'd like to reach out to us, feel free to either email us or call us at our Orem, Utah office number. Those are both on the screen right now. Again, my name is Jennifer Amos. I'm a QuickBooks Pro Advisor specializing in construction and contracting clients, and I hope that this training has been very useful for you. Thank you so much for your time, and I hope that you have a wonderful day.